Welcome, everybody. We're glad you are able to join us for this public meeting on the Dedham East Street Bridge Replacement Project. We're going to give it a few more minutes to let some people to join us. So we'll be back, and thank you for your patience. Again, thank you for joining us, everybody. We're going to give it a few more minutes for more people to come in. It's 6:02, and we'll be back, and thank you for your patience. And we'll just give it another couple of minutes for any people who are joining us late. Thank you for your patience. All right, I think it's time to start at 6:05. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to our first public meeting for the Dedham East Street Bridge Replacement Project for the MBTA. My name is Kate Barrett, and I'll be moderating tonight. I want to remind everyone about the procedure for participating in this meeting, and also remind everybody that the meeting is being recorded. Before we begin the presentation, I want to review a few technical aspects of the Zoom platform. Kyle, do you want to do next slide? Actually, I think we did not get any requests for language interpretation, so we can pass by this slide if you want to go to the next one. For captioning, at the bottom of your screen, you can view the closed captions by clicking that feature and selecting from the options shown. Show subtitle will display a caption at the bottom of the screen. View full transcript will display the meeting's audio transcription in a window to the right. You may use the Q&A button to submit a typed question or comment. We ask that you hold comments and questions for after the presentation, since some of your questions may be answered during the presentation. You can also use your raised hand feature when we get to that portion of the meeting. Kyle, next slide. As I said, since questions may be answered during the presentation, we ask that you hold them until after Brad Nickel has completed his presentation. We want to be sure that everyone has an opportunity to ask a question or make a comment. So please keep your verbal comments and questions to 2 minutes. I'd like to introduce Brad Nickel, MBTA's Deputy Chief of Bridge and Structures, who will begin the presentation. Brad? Thank you, Kate. Good evening, folks. Thank you for having the MBTA here tonight for Dedham. Like Kate said, my name is Brad Nickel. I'm the Deputy Chief of Structures for the MBTA's Capital Delivery Department, which is essentially our design and construction arm. So what I was hoping to do tonight is walk you through this presentation. The slide that we have up right now is our agenda. I want to give you a brief overview of the project, go over some of the existing conditions, what we have on the site today, where we are in the design process, give you a glimpse of the proposed bridge and roadway, detail what we're doing with bridge height, and lay out a project timeline. Then we would like to answer questions for you folks tonight. Thank you. Next slide, please. About the project. Well, just wanted to give a little bit of detail. If you can see in the upper right corner of the screen, the graphic, the East Street Bridge is located on the Franklin line between essentially Dedham Corporate Center Station and Endicott's Station. And it's right on East Street adjacent to, I want to say it's Grant Ave and Greenwood Ave. Really what we're trying to do with the project here is, the goal is to improve safety on the bridge and below the bridge. And some of the things that we'll get into tonight is things we're looking to do. Increase the vertical clearance. This will minimize overheight vehicle collisions with the bridge. Increase horizontal clearance, really eliminate the bottleneck under the bridge. And I think this is a key point because it'll allow for better pedestrian flow of traffic, better flow of traffic on East Street. And what we're looking to do is provide some sidewalks underneath the bridge. From our standpoint, really, we'd like to improve reliability. Reduces East Street traffic closures due to collisions and interruptions. Help facilitate emergency personnel responses. And reduce commuter rail service interruptions. So we're in the business of moving people, keep trains flowing over the bridge. Just give you an estimated project cost. Our total all-in costs for this project is $18 million. And that's not the construction cost. That includes everything, all of our design costs and soft costs and MBTA's administration. Down below, we have basically just a nice photo of the bridge as it currently stands, looking west on East Street. Next slide, please. So existing conditions. As you can see, this bridge was built in 1904. It's 117 years old. It's reached its useful service life. We've definitely gotten our money out of it, so to speak. But as you can see here in the photo to the right, it creates a bottleneck. The existing abutments kind of pinch down, and we have two basically substandard travel lanes that are substandard, 11'6", that kind of pinches underneath there. And as you can clearly see here, there's no sidewalks underneath the bridge on each side.
Also, we have a substandard vertical clearance. It's measured at 12'3". However, the town has it posted at 12'1". Next slide, please. So give you a little glimpse of what we're looking to do with the proposed roadway. And you can see to the graphic to the right, there's a dotted line up top. That's essentially the existing bridge. What this is a section. If you were standing in the roadway, kind of looking east or west, this is what you would see. And what we tried to do is superimpose over this, the proposed conditions with the dashed existing conditions. So what we're looking to do is to provide basically two 12-foot travel lanes with 2-foot shoulders, which is a statutory standard. And it's going to be 5 foot larger than existing roadway. And then what we're looking to do is eliminate these existing abutments, pull our abutments back so that you have continuous sidewalks on both sides of East Street, allowing residents and pedestrian flow to safely walk underneath the bridge. And I think that this will help to connect the neighborhoods on both sides and provide a little bit better access to our station. As part of this, we're going to be doing a 1 foot 9 inch lowering of East Street at the bridge and tapering it back. This is necessary for the vertical clearance that we need to achieve. Included in this would be some, utility relocation, which on an early stage we've coordinated with underneath the roadway at the bridge site, and minor impacts to surrounding properties regarding parts of driveways and walkways. And we can touch on that a little bit later. Next slide, please. So in the graphic to the right here, we want to go over the proposed bridge. You can see kind of these solid masses to the side there with the 11'6". That's the existing abutments that we'll be taking out. And if you can see, we'll be building the bridge kind of to span over that and some foundation elements behind it, increasing the span of it. So this is, again, another longitudinal section. If you were standing on the roadway looking at what the proposed bridge from an engineering drawing would look like. And really what we're trying to do here is we want to meet MBTA and federal standards. Our goal is to bring this bridge to a state of good repair. 75-year design life. We would like to, increase the capacity of the bridge to accommodate current safe train loadings. And we're doing that through our design. One of the other elements here is basically a 14-foot minimum vertical clearance. This reduces potential for overheight collisions, allows safe passage for emergency vehicle, and will ultimately require the town to post signage. And we'll get into this in the next slide a little bit, but just some engineering characteristics. This is a through girder system. That's the framing of the bridge. Minimizes structure depths and roadway lowering. The reason why we have this in here is that we want to just highlight that we're trying to have a very efficient design here to minimize impacts to the roadway and to the track alignment. One of the things that we are doing with these new abutments that you can see behind the existing here is we're going to be using drilled micropiles instead of drilled shafts or a driven pile. These elements are smaller, less invasive, reduces construction noise. We do have a noise consultant on board. We want to be a good neighbor and try to minimize the impacts to the neighborhood. These micropiles can be installed from track level during basically outages. So really we wouldn't be impacting the roadway while we're doing this construction activity. And I think this is a very advantageous thing for the town and for the project. Next slide, please. This assessing the problem, the bridge height. This is the crux of the issue of one of the major issues with the bridge and its existing condition is bridge strikes. Keolis, who's our operating contractor, they're the folks that run the Transforce and they're our maintenance arm, responded to 8 major collisions between July 2019 and November 2020, and 6 between July and September 2019. As you can see in the picture, there's a truck that got stuck underneath here. This happens a lot, the substandard clearance. So we need to increase the vertical clearance. The existing bridge is 12'3". Maximum legal truck height under Massachusetts law is 13'6". So what we're looking to do is raise it to the 14-foot, which is FHW and AASHTO recommended height. FHWA is federal. MassDOT for highways and roads, the highway arm of Mass DOT Likes to see vertical clearance on all new structures over roadways at 16'6". We do not believe we can achieve that here, and we're not going to try to. So we've kind of fit into a design height of 14 foot, not the optimal height. So the 14 foot is the lowest height to reduce severe damage to MBTA infrastructure and public risk. And just to talk about that a little bit, in an extreme event, what we wouldn't want to have happen is to have a truck come underneath this bridge, strike the existing bridge or our new bridge, and essentially knock it off its bearings. What could happen there is that would translate up to the track level. It becomes a safety issue for the traveling public below, and it becomes an issue for the traveling public above on the MBTA. And the last thing anybody wants is a derailment. Next slide, please. Methods we're going to be using. On MBTA projects, our standard seems to be accelerated bridge construction. We're in the business of moving people. We want to be able to maintain service. It's not staged where we're doing one barrel at a time. So here's some images to the right of our design consultant, HNTB, has worked on Route 18 over the Kingston, Lyman, Weymouth, basically built the bridge adjacent to the structure and slid it in. Another one that was done by them, Franklin lined over Giles Street in Norwood. They use these SPMTs, which is self-propelled modular transports, build at a staged area, roll this bridge into place over a weekend. So by doing accelerated bridge construction, we really minimize prolonged traffic closures on East Street. We have a number of weekend outages that we would use to do some of the foundation setting of the precast, demolish the existing bridge, and then put the new bridge into place. Again, this minimizes impacts to MBTA riders into the town, and we work under weekend outages. Next slide, please. Just give you folks a brief timeline. Here we are in December, and we are in the design process. We recently went through the acceptance of our 30% design. We are moving forward. Design completion would be, let's say, sometime in the spring of 2022, maybe late spring. We would then move into a construction procurement. This project is a design bid build, so it will be publicly bid, and that will happen in the summer of 2022. We'll get the contractor hopefully under contract with a notice to proceed in construction in the fall. But really, when you start seeing boots on the ground, construction activities would be early 2023. And then construction will go through to final punch list and final completion in late 2024. So that's kind of the timeline that we're on right now. Next slide, please. So public outreach and next steps. We will be able to have email advisories. You can sign up on the website. We will post new information there. We will do, like it says, advisories. Any new information that we have, we can roll out. We can roll out through an e-blast. Our website is www.mbta.com/East Street Bridge. And questions or comments you can submit on the site to the eaststreetbridge@mbta.com. Next slide, please. I think this is where we would like to open this platform up to questions and answers. Thank you very much, folks.
Yes, thank you, Brad. Appreciate that presentation. We are ready to open up for questions and comments, but first I would like to invite Senator Rush, if he would like to make some initial comments. Happy to have you do so. Please let us know by raising your hand and we'll unmute you. Okay, you should be able to speak, Senator. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just want to say thank you very much to you folks for being here tonight and taking this opportunity to really focus in on what is such an important issue for the citizens of Dedham and those who travel this road in particular. And you folks have been wonderful to both Representative McMurtry and I in working with our outstanding Board of Selectmen again, I just thank you for the attention and the care to this important issue that affects all residents of Dedham and beyond. So I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you this evening for being here and look forward to the continued dialogue and working together.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Senator.
Thank you
Oh,
very much.
sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
No, sorry, Kate.
That's okay. All right. Thank you, Senator. We as well look forward to that opportunity to work collaboratively with everybody. So now we're going to move to, I didn't see a representative from Representative McMurtry's office, but if there is somebody here, we can certainly take that question. Otherwise, we can open it up to everybody. You can either type in your question or comment to the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. You can also raise your hand. That function is available also at the bottom of the screen. It is hands are raised in the order they're received, so we will take them that way. I would like to first start with some questions that have been typed in. Kathleen Stratford is asking, who is paying for the bridge reconstruction and how long will estimated work take?
Okay, I can jump in for that one, Kate. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the question. Can you repeat that again, please?
She's wondering who's paying for the project and how long it will take.
Absolutely. So the MBTA is administering the project, and as of right now, it's scheduled for future federal funding. So potentially there's two paths that we could go down, whether or not this will be a share of state and federal dollars, or it will be used by state bond grant money. That hasn't been determined at this time. And the timeline, I think we laid out that construction will roughly go from, early 2023 to late in 2024. So depending on, somewhere between 2 years and 18 months of construction.
Thank you, Brad. David Phillips has a question. With lowering of East Street, what steps are being taken to reduce the increased possibility of flooding?
Sure. And I think with our designer will look at the drainage characteristics of the bridge. The bridge will be the low point. And I don't know, Benny, if I could turn that one over to you with what we're looking at to address flooding issues. I think that what we will probably be doing is, channeling the drainage down towards, I'm looking at the photo in the question slide. There's a catch basin right there, but I don't know if you can speak to that at all. Benny D'Artista is our project manager from HNTB Corporation, our design consultant.
Yeah, I can touch upon it a little, Brad. So you can hit the nail on the head. As we progress our design here from 30%, we are going to be looking at the drainage characteristics and particularly adjusting the catch basins to be lowered and also their capacity to take the additional runoff that will be stemming from the pinch point or the lowering of the roadway.
Thank you, Benny.
Great. Okay, thank you. I'm going to move to some people who have their hands raised. Brian Keeney, I'm going to unmute you. And if you could just keep your comments to 2 minutes, we'd appreciate that. Thank you. We seem to be having All right, Brian, thank you for your patience. We're working on getting you access to verbal comments.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Good
My
evening.
name is Brian Keeney. I live at 183 Grant Ave, so just 3 or 4 houses up in front or up from the bridge. I'm actually the one that, often calls in when the bridge gets hit by a truck. So I know exactly how often it happens. And I also know that, occasionally I'll have an 18-wheeler idling out in front of my house. They come down East Street, they see the bridge, they realize they can't get under it. So they turn up my street, park in front of my house, and try to figure a way out of there. And I am begging you not to raise this bridge. By all means, please widen. It's, you take life in your hands trying to go under it. Most of the time we go over the tracks and, down the street again. It needs to be wider for drivers. It needs to be wider to have sidewalks. But if you raise this bridge so that trucks can go under it, trucks will go under it. And you're going to turn East Street into Route 1. I walk my boys to preschool at St. Luke's, right down the street on the other side of the rotary. We go up over the tracks and we come down. And the moment we hit the rotary, I can no longer have a conversation with them in the carriage as I'm pushing them because the truck traffic is just so loud. It's bad enough from 128 to the Endicott rotary. If you raise this bridge, it's going to be like this the entire length of East Street. So I want to know, 1, what are you doing to prevent this? 2, can you not raise the bridge? And 3, what will it take to get, to not raise it? And how long will that delay the construction?
Thank you, Brian. And we understand your concern. I have to say too, we're open to options for let's just say on the roadway traffic calming. I think we've spoken to the town, and this is still considered a low clearance bridge at 14 feet. There's things that can be done there from our, I guess, MBTA's perspective, and we want to be a good neighbor. There is safety issues with having the bridge being able to be struck. And so as of right now, our design height is due to safety concerns for public below and for, as we referenced, if it was going to get knocked off potentially for the ridership above. No one wants to see a derailment. We are going to probably maintain the 14 feet. But we are open to options. We are open to dialogues and things that can be done to make this a better situation on the roadway.
All right. Thank you, Brad. We have another, I'm going to just kind of alternate between written questions and raised hands. Richard Gowan has raised his hand. Richard, I've asked you to unmute yourself if you'd like to do so.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so hi, Brian. Brian Keeney lives on Grant. I live a few blocks up. I live on East Street. I have similar concerns to Brian. The traffic on East Street is horrendous. At certain times of the day, it's worse. It's made worse by the rotary. So you recently did a rebuild in Islington, and I don't believe that bridge went up to 14 feet. Islington doesn't have a rotary. It does not have truck traffic. We have a lot of industry up on Sprague Street. And if this bridge gets lowered to raised to 14 feet, much of that traffic will bypass the rotary at those critical traffic times and go up East Street just so they can find a different way onto the highway. I think raising this to that height is a guaranteed disaster. I'm 66. My family's lived in the house that I'm in my whole life. So I know the area very, very, very well. I've got a lot of experience. I walked that road. I walked under that bridge. Walking has always been difficult. So I'm happy to have it widened. But I can't stress enough my opposition to raising it to 14 feet. And I do have a question. Was the bridge in Islington raised to 14 feet or was it less? And if it was less at 13.5 or 13.6, which I think was published, has it been struck since it was raised to that height? And that's it for me.
All right, thank you, Richard. Brad, do you want to take those?
Sure. Thank you, Richard, for your concern, and we understand. To speak to the bridge, I think what you're calling it, Islington, that is actually designed to be above what it's posted as. It's well above 13.6 as measured. We would have gone higher there if we could have. There are constraints above and below, utilities that we couldn't move, that left us in that position. But that is greater than the maximum legal height, 13.6, and trucks can pass. And that bridge hasn't been hit. I want to say, I don't know, I don't want to speak offhand. We'd have to get back to you what the exact height of that one is. But I'm not aware of any bridge strikes on that bridge because it's above the essentially truck height. So we will continue to look to do the FDWA and AASHTO recommended minimum, because once we go past that 13.6 height, they can flow freely without striking it. The reason why they go above that is for future overlays that may come through that the town does, so that you don't create another low point. So from a safety perspective, again, for the traveling public above and below, we're looking for a design height of 14 feet.
Great, thank you, Brad. DK has a couple of questions. How will daily traffic flow be impacted, and what will the hours of construction be?
So thank you, DK. I would say that we're at an early point in the job, where in the design process, where we haven't really laid out those what we'll call the general conditions. What I can say, maybe from a holistic standpoint, is our accelerated bridge construction will allow for a much better traffic flow. Our goal is to really, on a day-to-day basis, have maintained traffic on the roadway. When we're doing the roadway work, we're probably going to have to do some sort of, stage construction lane-wise on the road. Where that happens and when in the project construction schedule hasn't really been nailed down. The hours of operation, I would think we'd be working a normal workday shift, and then there would be weekend work. But I don't think we're at the point where we've nailed down those hours of operation yet, but it's something that we could take into consideration. Did that answer both questions, Kate?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to move to a raised hand. Stephen Relia, if you want to go ahead, and I've asked you to unmute yourself if you'd like to speak.
Sure, thank you. I just wanted to thank you for the presentation, and I understand and appreciate the need to repair the old infrastructure, and glad to see the large investment in the town and the support of our state representatives. I do have to second Mr. Keeney's and Mr. McGowan's concerns very strongly. That Dedham already has a serious truck problem, trucks taking out telephone poles, damaging personal property. And if the #1 goal of this project is to improve safety, I think we also need to consider the safety of the people that live in this community. And so my first question would be if there's any study been done on the impact of the traffic on East Street, and in particular, the impact on the safety of the children that go to the schools at the end of East Street in that area. My second question is concerning the Westwood Bridge. I understand that was pitched to the Westwood community as a compromise, and that the height was not ultimately sold as being the 14. It was lowered to prevent certain types of tractor trailers. And in addition, that was made more palatable in Westwood by the presence of a truck ban on that portion of East Street, which we don't have in this town. So I was wondering if you could comment on that. I guess my third question would be, what technological solutions have you considered to reducing collisions prior to going forward with this project? And are there other things that can be put in place? I've seen reference to cameras or overhead hangs that can prevent trucks from running into bridges. So I'm wondering if we can come at it from that angle. And I guess lastly, if the MBTA is set on going with this design, I was wondering what options do we have with our state and local representatives to get more involved in the project?
Thank you, Stephen.
Stephen, thank you very much. There's a few things to touch on there. I hope I capture your all your questions and try to have a more of a comprehensive answer. To speak to the bridge at Islington, it is over what the legal height is for trucks it's over 13'6". It just happens to be posted lower. So that's a method that the town could implement. There's things that can be done if the town would like to put cameras or low clearance or things like that from a technological. But I think the hard fact is there's a window there, and if a truck is bigger than the window, they can hammer into the bridge. So the fundamental solution is to raise the bridge above that height, the minimum 13.6, and we're going to 14. I don't believe MBTA has conducted a traffic study, but Benny, I don't know if you can speak to that, a little bit of what's been done from the project level end, from the design for traffic related to this.
Sure, Brad. In terms of the traffic flow in the area, some traffic counts have been done, as well as reviewing historical data. And this is kind of playing into the potential traffic management plan for the project.
Thank you.
All right. We have a question from Maureen McDermott about detours and whether or not Cedar Street will be a detour route when East Street is closed.
I'm not sure we've worked through at 30% what the detours will look like. What we're trying to do is maintain traffic flow during construction. When we have our weekend out, we're looking to do most of the work on weekend outages where the road will be closed. And I'm not sure that we've identified what that detour route would look like. Benny, I'm going to ask you to speak to that, where we are in the design process on detours.
Sure. It is still early on in kind of using some of the traffic data we obtained, and looking to go forward. I think we're in the process of figuring out the detour routes for both the full closure of East Street when to coincide when we do the milestone activities, as you mentioned, at the bridge, the superstructure replacement, substructure construction, and so forth, as well as kind of the phase construction when we do the East Street roadway work, which we anticipate trying to keep a lane open for alternating traffic through the area.
Great, thank you. David Phillips has a question about what will be done to help businesses that will be affected by the bridge replacement.
Excellent. David, thank you for the question. MBTA certainly wants to be a good neighbor and wants to be sensitive to any of the businesses that are within, like, let's just say the project limits or adjacent to the bridge structure. We're at an early point in design. We're really starting to enter into, what we're going to be looking for let's call it real estate right-of-way easements and things like that. We will certainly listen to any concerns that you folks have and try to accommodate any reasonable asks for adjacent businesses. We want to be able to maintain traffic flow so that customers can get into your businesses and you can still continue to function. I think we have, for the weekend outages, that will probably be, mostly when you're impacted. And I think that at the end, depending on what we do with the roadway, there'll be some grades and things like that will, maybe some paving that needs to be done, but we hope to maintain pedestrian and vehicular access through the roadway so that they can get to your businesses.
Great, thank you, Brad. I'm going to take somebody who has a raised hand, Bessie Inokbo Burgos. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good
So
evening.
I am the abutting neighbor to the MBTA. We own the property right next to the rail. So I'm thinking here, this project is going to take well over a year, and it's going to affect actually our property there and the businesses that are there, and also our neighbor next door, the convenience store. I was wondering if you have a contact for businesses to reach out to the MBTA regarding their concerns. Because
Absolutely.
I think it's going to impact everyone really bad. I know we're the only businesses there, but I feel like our property is going to be blocked with all this construction going on. So I think we're going to have several concerns regarding this entire project.
All right. Well, thank you, Bessie. We'll, Brad, if you want to address this, we obviously are very early in the process and will be continuing to reach out to folks.
Yeah, our goal is to not our goal. There may be some, times in the project, but our goal is to not adversely affect businesses. We do have to be able to, do some work on our right of way to improve the infrastructure for safety, and we're trying to be as minimally as invasive as possible. I would encourage you folks to sign up on the website, the www.mbta.com /East Street Bridge. That we have the slide up. I'm sure we can put that link out to folks, and the questions or comments from that you can be submitted to eaststreetbridge@mbta.com, and we will answer your questions as they come in. I think
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah, absolutely, Brad. Thank you. And also, I just want to make sure that people understand we have a number of questions from businesses that, as we've said already, we're early in the process, and we are going to be continuing to reach out to both business and residential abutters. So this is not the last you've heard from us, and we definitely want to continue to engage with you. Let's see, we have a question about lighting on the bridge, Brad.
yes. As of right now, we do not intend to have lighting on the bridge.
Okay. Will parking be impacted during construction and after?
Reading into this comment a little bit, and I may or may not be addressing that, but really where we're looking to work is within the MBTA's right of way. So looking at Grant Ave, it is early in the process, but there's parking spaces for the MBTA all along Grant Ave, and this is a big swath right next to the station. That's where we're looking to essentially potentially stage operations. So I don't believe any parking on street would be affected unless we're doing the roadway work. However, I believe we'll probably take some of the parking spaces at the station for that, and then we will replace it later. I'm hoping that answered the question.
Thanks, Brad. And I also wanted to just remind folks on this slide, you see second bullet from the bottom, the email address. We want to hear from you, and certainly will be responding to questions and concerns. So feel free to email us at eaststbridge@mbta.com. Jessica Porter wondered how many people were here tonight. Jessica, 72 people from the public. Let's see. Just scanning through these. what's the furthest, Ariel has a question, Brad, about what's the furthest distance from the bridge that's anticipated to be impacted by the regrading efforts?
That's a very fair question. Yeah, I think where we're looking at roughly, and we don't have this nailed down, and it's subject to change. But I would say, inside Adams Street to I would say, hopefully we don't get into grading past where I'm looking at, just slightly past Greenwood. That may be the essentially our limits of work for tie-in.
All right, thank you. Dennis Tian, I'm gonna unmute you. If you wanna go ahead and ask your question or make your comment.
Thank you very much. I want to be 100% clear that I'm speaking for myself tonight and not the board, the select board. And I want to say I appreciate and thank the many constituents that reached out to me the last few days. I think the MBTA, because this bridge needs to be done. It's time. I think that the MBTA, says they want to be a good neighbor, and I believe them. But I think being a good neighbor begins with respect. And what the MBTA needs to understand is that raising this bridge will impact the quality of life in the neighborhood. And as far as I know, no major study of the impact of this bridge and how it affects the traffic flow through our town has really been conducted. And there really hasn't been much dialogue. So we need dialogue, we need to study, and we need to be careful, because we're going to change the way things work, and we could have impacts that we don't foresee. And above all, we need to find a middle ground that both sides can live with. And what I don't understand, and I asked this at our meeting a few weeks ago, is why we can't just build some kind of crumple zone on the bottom of the bridge, something that's meant to fall apart if it gets hit. And that way the town could say the bridge is 13.6 and it would not be lying, and it would not threaten the structural integrity of the bridge. That's just one idea I have, but we need some kind of middle ground like that that's going to respect how this is going to impact the neighbors and the potential for that. So thank you, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
We have a question from Dimitri Kapalis. Which side of the existing bridge will the replacement be built?
Thank you, Dimitri. We haven't worked that out. We're kind of at the point where we're in design where we're going to start looking at, staging areas and things like that. But my strong suspicion is that the staging, like I said earlier, will probably be on the Grant Ave side, where MBTA has right away in available land. That's our own.
All right, Christine Smith wants to know some details about the bottleneck and how it will be improved.
Absolutely.
Again, another question about why increasing the height.
Sure.
And the truck concern.
So to Christine, thank you for your question. You said they improved the bottleneck. So as of right now, you can see in this picture, there's no sidewalks. These the existing bridge abutments, these stone masonry elements, basically constrain the roadway. The roadway pinches down. That's the bottleneck. We will be building foundations behind the existing abutments and demolishing out the existing abutments and spanning over that. That allows us to widen the roadway to statutory standards, to two 12-foot lanes, a 2-foot shoulder, so 14 feet on each side, 28 feet total. And then I want to say that we have 5'5", have full sidewalks on each side that will be able to connect the pedestrian flow on each side of the bridge and connect the neighborhoods. And we think this is a great safety improvement. And we feel that, this is a benefit for the town. As far as the bridge height, when the bridge gets struck, this creates a safety issue for the trains above. If trucks were to knock the bridge off its bearings, the bridge could come down, or we could have the the rail displace, and we could have potentially in an extreme event a derailment. And that's a public safety issue. That's why we look to raise the bridge.
Thanks, Brad. Sarah lives off East Street. She's mentioning about 3 accidents in the same area by the Box Ice Center. Talking about it's risky to leave her driveway. And again, wondering what the maximum of semi trucks that can pass on East Street, since it's not a highway. I assume she means maximum height.
So if it's maximum height, trucks are legally 13'6", and that's what we're looking to be above. And we're going with the federal minimum of 14 feet. As far as traffic flow, we don't really speak to what the traffic would be within the town. We don't really control that. So I can't speak to the number of maximum trucks that will be allowed underneath the bridge.
Great, thank you. Lawrence Johnston had a question: if there are going to be explosive materials to be used in construction, what are the specifics involved?
I don't believe that we are looking to use explosive materials for the demolition. I think we'd probably use equipment to be able to take the bridge down and to demolish the abutments. So I don't believe that we're using explosives or anticipate using explosives.
All right, I'm just looking through these questions. Many of them are topics that we've already addressed about the bridge height. Let's see. Again, some of these questions probably are more local questions. Lawrence Johnston had another question about traffic lights at the corner of East and Grant to ensure
I would like to address Sarah. It looks like, is that Sarah McDonald's question popped up here? Yes.
Westwood, yeah.
Correct. Westwood is not 16'6". It's not 14 foot, but it is greater than 13'6". It just happens to be posted by the town as less than that. It's measured higher. That's essentially what we're doing here, except we're going to 14 feet.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
Trucks can freely pass underneath that bridge.
All right, I'm going to take some verbal comments. Ann Mercer, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm sorry for the technical.
Nope.
I am Ann Mercer. I also live on East Street, a couple blocks down from the railroad trestle on the corner of East and Monroe. I share many of the concerns of those who've already spoken. The railroad trestle as it is clearly unsafe. It's old. It is in need of attention. It has always been a great frustration that in order for my children, I've raised 3 girls here, to have any sort of normalcy of going down to the store to get a slush or to get a gallon of milk for the family, they had 2 choices: either walk underneath that railroad trestle in active traffic or cross over the T's train tracks, neither of which were safe or acceptable options. And having sidewalks under there is imperative. That being said, I have heard a number of references tonight about how lowering the road and thereby raising the height effectively 2 feet is going to help with traffic patterns. And I am a little bemused by that, because clearly the only thing that lowering the road and adding height to the passage is going to do is going to be increasing traffic, increasing speed coming through that. The bottleneck for me is just fine. I would rather people slow down. Going from my end of the East Street towards the Rotary, there's traffic every day. That's not going to be changed. In coming in the other direction, the same is true. There's more cars on the road. The Rotary is really what dictates how quickly traffic moves through this area, not whether or not the bridge is higher or lower. It is going to be a pipeline for all of the larger trucks. Now, I understand that that may not be your monkey or your circus, and it's just not something that you're concerned with. But I am a little irked, shall I say, throughout this whole meeting, because it almost seems like, what is the point of having a community discussion when you don't seem to be willing to consider the community's opinion? Each person who has spoken has said, we don't want the bridge lowered that much. We don't want that height available. And it seems as though your mind is made up. I don't know what Westwood did more magically than Dedham can. And it's frustrating to sort of have it be like we're only in the design phase, but it seems as though this is a course that has been set, and you, the MBTA and the designers and the engineers, don't seem to want to consider other alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you, Ann. We do care about your comments, and we're here tonight. To speak to Westwood again, trucks can freely flow underneath that bridge. The town chose to post it at a different height. I can't speak for what the town can do here. That's up to the town. Things that can be done. I think I saw a comment in option. I don't think the MBTA commented on whether this would improve or adversely affect traffic. It will help us. It will help the bridge from a public safety standpoint from having an issue. That's what the raising is about. One thing I would say is the town, there's certain things that can be done on the roadway that could calm traffic calming devices, speed bumps, things like that. That, we would be interested if the town wanted something from a traffic perspective when we're doing the roadway, that we could include it. Outside of our project limits, it's really the town's jurisdiction, and we'd be more than willing to work with the town to try to come up with a solution that could calm traffic through here, that potentially dissuade truck traffic. But the physical reasoning for the raising is so the bridge doesn't get struck and so that we don't have a safety issue.
Thank you, Brad. Michael Marks, if you'd like to, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself.
Okay, I finally saw the command for unmuting, so I wondered where that was going to be. Well, thank you. I'm all for progress, but I'm also in the camp of concern about what the lowering of the bridge, raising the clearance is going to do. I live at 814 East Street, which is just near the corner of Rustcraft Road, Jefferson, and East Street. And we have statistics on the number of trucks that have struck that bridge. But if you multiply that by a factor of 10 or 20, that might give you an idea of the number of semi-trailers that come down the street, unbeknownst to the fact that they're not going to make it under the bridge before they strike it. And as one other person pointed out tonight, tries to find some way. Most of the time they back up. My neighbor who's on Grant, unfortunately, had someone who thought they might be able to make it through the neighborhood, and that doesn't work out very well. But I want to focus on something else that you mentioned Brad, and that is you talked about the superstructure, the increased strength, the ability to have extra capacity. In the past pandemic era, I would say, and it's not my imagination, we've had an inordinate increase in the number of freight trains coming through this neighborhood. So we have traffic on East Street, but we also have freight traffic, which can only run during certain hours, as you know, because it is a commuter rail also, for the most part. And what I want to know is, does that increased infrastructure allow heavier, larger, more frequent freight trains to run on the Franklin line out to wherever it goes out in the western part off of 495, where there is some kind of a depot or something? And also, if memory serves me correctly, after the Westwood Bridge opened, within a month, a truck struck the bridge. And I remember it distinctly because one of the local television stations was providing live coverage of how this new bridge has now also been struck. You may want to look into the records of that. Maybe one of those extra height trucks that you said we're not designing for thought they could make it down that road. And we have infinitely more vehicles such as that here in Dedham potentially. So, but one of the things I want to focus on is what's going to happen with the freight traffic when this new structure is in place.
All right, Michael, let's let Brad have a chance to respond, and certainly any questions that we can't answer tonight, we can take back and find more information for you. But Brad, if you want to address that, if you can.
Absolutely, Michael, thank you. I would say that the bridge being brought up to current loading conditions and statutory abilities would be able to, underneath its design condition, handle almost all freight vehicles. That is the case. I am not in our commuter rail operations group and more of our design and construction. That would be a question I would have to go to somebody else at the MBTA for and get back to you folks, whether or not there is any plans for increased freight activity. But I can't answer your question discreetly at this point of the bridge. The bridge would be able to carry, anticipated any kind of future freight operation. Whether or not all the bridges on the Franklin line up to that point, upstream and downstream, have that ability, I'd have to look into that too, because that would also constrain whether or not we could run additional freight on that line. So this is something I think we'd probably have to get back to you on.
Thank you, Brad. We do have a number of written questions about traffic issues. Can police be posted to control speeds, which I think is a local issue? Traffic lights at the corner of East Street and Grant Avenue. Let's see. So again, many of similar questions about trucks and traffic calming. Train traffic and schedules, will they be affected? Brad, I think that question is during construction, probably yes, but
yes.
Right?
Yes. Everyday commuter rail train operation will not be affected. It will be affected on a handful of weekend outages where we will provide bus diversions. And I think we've spoken to what we're trying to do from a traffic perspective during construction.
Okay, a little bit different question. Will there be vibration monitoring and studies of nearby homes to prevent or identify damage due to construction vibration?
I believe we have noise. I'm not sure what we have for vibration, but that's something we could add in as we go through design. We will definitely probably be doing what would be like a pre-construction survey and a post-construction survey. So there'll probably be something that will go out in the contract for us to, look at, to do basically those pre-construction surveys to make sure that, we haven't caused any harm to anybody's properties. And if we have, certainly try to make right on that.
Okay. Joe has a question about, will foot traffic always be allowed? I think that's basically depends on construction.
Yeah, depends on the activities. I
Right.
don't think it will be completely throughout, because when we close the bridge for the outages, it will be a construction zone. But if the roadway is open, then pedestrian, it looks like the sprinting underneath will be, or be allowed. The pedestrian flow will mimic the traffic flow, I'll just say.
Again, we have a lot of similar topics. One that we haven't talked about is Jessica Porter. It seems like most people are in agreement that the width needs to be expanded in order to accommodate walkers and bikers. Is there any way to get bike lanes in the design?
We currently do not have bike lanes in the design right now. That would increase our span, and it would also affect the structure depth, which we're struggling with right now. So as of this point, we haven't looked to include bike lanes.
Okay. Just looking at some of these other questions. Benjamin Eppinger wants to know if it's possible to have a joint public meeting with the town to address some of the height signage and enforcement issues raised tonight. Also, have you considered alternatives to the weekend only work, which might have less of a long-term impact to the community?
I can speak to, I can't speak for, the town, and what they'd be willing to do that. What I can speak to is that the weekend only work is, we're looking at a handful of weekends, 4 or 5 weekends, something on the order of magnitude of that. And really what we'll be doing is working on the right of way above. This is really the best way to minimize impacts to the town. Otherwise, we'd be doing stage construction, and the road would be, there'd be impacts every day instead of at discrete isolated weekends. So this method of accelerated bridge construction is definitely the least invasive and least impactful.
Thank you. Brad Lombardi, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. Brad, you should be able to unmute yourself. All right. Go on to Keith Hamp. Keith, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Just had a quick question. Is the requested or the desired height that we've talked about tonight, is that in any correlation to the federal funding?
No, it's not. I see another question in here. We are fully funded for construction. And right now we have state bond money. What we look to do is then apply for future federalization, and that has to do more with grants and things like that, and federalizing the grant. It has nothing to do with that. It's strictly a safety issue.
So just to clarify though, if you don't achieve the federal height limit, would you be excluded from federal funding?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Cheryl Hires, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Okay, well, I was just typing something, but yes, I do have to weigh in on this because I'm on Elmwood Avenue. I'm only a block and a half from the train station. And I moved in 2017, a desirable neighborhood, very nice and quiet, family oriented, get out, walk, bicycle ride, do whatever you need to in relative safety. And since I moved in, It has been a nonstop barrage of construction. I've had to deal with the water pipes being replaced, then gas lines, and now I'm going to have to deal with the bridge. It has been the most unpeaceful place that I've ever lived, and I've lived in several states, but this has gotten to the point where it's getting almost unbearable. Elmwood Avenue is used as a detour for everything that's going on East Street. They come flying up. The cars and the trucks are angry that they have to take a detour. And then, you know, it's unsafe for us. It's very dangerous for us to even get out of our driveway. You know, and I know I'm sounding a little bit emotional, but it's been nonstop. And it's going to have a significant change in the way people live in this area. I feel for those parents who are going to have to think twice about letting their kids get on their bikes and just go out and have fun. I don't think enough has been done to show that this is not going to have a significant impact on the way we live our lives right now. And I can't imagine Endicott Estate is going to be happy with this. With all those beautiful venues, outdoor venues, being interrupted with all this increased traffic. I'm just at the end of my rope. I've been here for now 4 years, and it's been nonstop.
Cheryl, thank you. We appreciate your concern. Again, we're really early in the project, and we'll certainly continue to engage with everybody and understand, you know, that there are all sorts of different, you know, concerns. So it's a balancing act. Brad, did you want to add anything to that?
We want to be a good neighbor, but and we're sympathetic to the construction and infrastructure. We can't speak to the other activities that are going on there. We as the MBTA, you know, we have a safety issue that we're trying to deal with the bridge.
Thanks, Brad. I wanted to give Brad Lombardi another chance. He had some issues last time when I called on him. So, Brad.
Thank you, Kate. Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier, but thank you for giving me another opportunity. Sure. We just wanted to kind of echo some of the feedback from some of our neighbors. We live on East Street, down closer to the middle school, near the intersection with Eastern Avenue. And, you know, our first grader bus stop is on East Street. And already, you know, even with tractor trailers not being able to get through the bridge, people use East Street as a cut through when the traffic is high on Route 1. People fly down the street, and we've had to ask that, you know, the police take a look at it when, you know, there's a lot of bus drop-offs and pickups, because people will blow right by them. And the idea of just kind of increasing the amount of traffic on the street when people are already kind of using it as a shortcut or a cut through is just, it's very, you know, it's concerning. And, you know, we wish that, you know, some of the suggestions that have been made would be, you know, taken under consideration. I know that, you know, point taken that the town has some responsibility here to look at this. But I think Selectman Teahan made the point that, you know, maybe there could be like a crumple zone under the bridge. And I didn't hear Brad respond to that. So just to know that you guys are at least kind of taking some thought into
No, we're losing you, Brad, on your video, on your audio.
Sure. I think one of the points that he was asking about was the crumple zone and how that's worked. We don't have any on our system now. That would probably be something that it'd have to be collaborated with the town. the safe way for us is to raise the structure so it can't be hit. Whether or not you put something, if we raise the structure and you put something lower on each side of the bridge, that something would hit before that to prevent trucks from going underneath there. That's the town's business.
Thank you. Demetria Sullivan, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to chat with us. Demetria, do you have?
I'm having a hard time unmuting.
Okay, you're unmuted now.
Okay, great. Excellent. So I just wanted to respond to some of the previous callers and let them know that yes, that the town will be holding a meeting to discuss this. And some of the suggestions that are being made by the citizens are, you know, some great ideas and things to think about and how we can work with the MBTA to make this a project that we obviously know something is going forward. The question is exactly what will go forward and what kind of input that we can have in the situation. So I did want to address that we as the select board will be listening to the community as well and having another meeting at another time. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Selectwoman. Yes. So I think we're probably ready to wrap up. I did want to thank everybody for attending tonight. This is not the end of the conversation. We'll be out again. You can certainly stay abreast of project information through the website mbta.com/eaststbridge. You can also email us with any questions or comments that we were not able to get to this evening at eaststbridge@mbta.com. We do appreciate everybody's time. And we really look forward to working with you going forward. Brad, I don't know if you want to make any closing comments?
Just wanted to thank folks for coming out tonight and allowing the MBTA to come out and do this presentation. And I just wanted to, you know, thank the community for the feedback and for the opportunity.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening, and we will continue to be in touch.